Well, let's now welcome in studio our sports analyst Sipho Kekana as we talk all things happening right now at the World Cup in Russia. Sipho, it's always great to have you in studio. Firstly, there is a match currently underway. We're seeing the host, Russia. I think a team that's certainly proven to be, more than just a team that can play football, but I think they've managed to solidify their place in, the bigger scheme of things coming into this tournament, not just as the hosts. And they're going through to the next round, and no matter the outcome of today's game as they take on Uruguay.
Yeah, interestingly, I mean, I was surprised by their performance, especially in the first match when they won 5-0 against Saudi Arabia. I didn't expect that. So I think, and I thought perhaps that was a fluke, and they went on to win their second match as well, so consolidating their place in the last 16. So they're currently playing against Uruguay. I think they have met their toughest opponent in the tournament yet.
I was about to ask, have they been doing well because their opponents haven't been perhaps the strongest?
Yes, that's one of the reasons, but also you have to look at the fact that they're playing at home in front of their home fans. So when you play against them, when you play against the host, you don't want to concede first against you don't want to concede first, because once you do that, the morale just goes high. Everyone starts to believe. So I think perhaps with their two previous matches, that could have been the downfall of their opponents. So today, however, I think they against Uruguay, they're getting a little bit exposed there, and I didn't give them much of a chance. I think reaching the last 16 would be a very, very big achievement for them.
And do you think that's where it'll stop for them?
Yeah, Spain and Portugal are actually hoping that they meet Russia in the last 16. I think both of them would like to avoid Uruguay.
Certainly. Now, the focus is hugely on the last 16 now in this World Cup. I mean, there's some definite teams that are going through, and a few of the groups that have been, blown wide open. We look at Group H. Everyone on the continent, I think, was hoping to see Senegal really, solidify their place and secure their place in the last 16. It wasn't to be. Let's look at their performance and just what you think of what they've been able to produce so far. Well,
I've always said that Senegal was the African team with a credible chance of actually going through to the last 16, and they've proven that. But I was very, very disappointed yesterday. I think they actually might have given it away now, that chance, looking at the fact that they were in the lead twice, and they gave away two goals, allowing Japan to back into the match and getting only 1 point from that match. So you look at Colombia's performance; they were brilliant. James Rodriguez was back in the second match. They seem like a very serious contender.
So it's going to be an uphill battle for Senegal against Colombia.
Yeah, it's a must-win for Colombia. They have to beat Senegal to get through. So, and also for Senegal, they have to beat Colombia. So it's going to be very, very difficult for Senegal. I'm not so sure whether they are going to make it. I think they had to win yesterday's match against Japan, because Japan also, you look at the players that they have, your Kagawa, Honda, they have some very, very good quality players. So going into their last match as well, they are going. I'm expecting that they are going to win their last match. So all of those permutations all those are going to make it difficult for Senegal to go through. Yeah,
despite all the math that we all have to do. Yeah, well, the tournament is certainly starting to take shape. We are now, it's now coming into a focus, and a clearer picture is emerging of who some of the strong teams in this tournament have been so far. We look at England, very clinical so far in this tournament. Which other nations would you say will go much further than we think?
I think it also had an element of unpredictability as well. If you look at the teams like your Argentina and Germany, Germany were actually dicing with elimination until that last-minute free kick by Toni Kroos, which was brilliant, by the way, I must say. So it's almost difficult to say who's going to go through. A lot of people have now written Argentina off, but you look at the fact that they just have to beat Nigeria, and they will go through to the last 16. So I don't think their pride as well will allow them to lose to Nigeria. And if you look at their chances going into the last 16, you could say it actually gets easier than it was. It has been for them in the group stages, which now increases their chances of actually even advancing to the other stages of the tournament. Germany as well. I mean, that victory on the last minute, they have shown that they have the pedigree to go through. They don't give up until the whistle has gone. They've proven that, which is very, very interesting. Spain as well.
Despite even losing a coach at the eve, they've not absolutely crumbled.
They have not. In fact, if you look at the fact that in 2010 they lost their first match to Switzerland, in 2014, I think they are in a better position right now, despite the fact that they're not playing the best football. But if you look at the chances that they had in 2014, they have the best chances of actually going all the way. But it will also depend on who actually tops Group A, because I'm sure Portugal and Spain would not want to meet Uruguay in the last 16.
No, they wouldn't. They wouldn't, Sipho Kekana. That is where we'll have to leave it. Thank you so much for making the time to chat to us as always. Well, that's just us looking at what's currently happening in as far as the World Cup in Russia. Of course, at the moment, Uruguay is up against the hosts, and as far as I understand it, Uruguay is currently leading. Later on, Saudi Arabia will, of course, be taking on Egypt, and that's a dead rubber match. But yeah, certainly we'll keep you up to speed in as far as all the football action taking place at the World Cup.